And it's actually like a ridiculously good Timber game already, actually. 3 strength heroes. He's going to get a good lane matchup no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Are you still trying to figure out the set?
I'm trying to figure out the settings, okay?
I can tell by the All right, let me take this away. Khan right now. They actually have a lot of mobility around the map. Like Lifesteal's able to engage fast. You've got the Infest relocates that you can play around with. I wouldn't be surprised if Khan like doubles down on that mobility. Outside the Rubik, there's not much catch for it. There it is. See, oh baby. I mean, I was gonna say maybe Storm last, but right now this is a pretty easy Storm game. It is a bit early though, considering you have the final pick. Maybe Khan were worried it was gonna get banned out though.
Yeah, potentially.
I think it's weird as well because they've got the final pick, but it should be a support pick. You don't really see teams often save the 10th pick for like your casual 5 or 4.
Yeah, I guess.
How are you breathing?
I mean, I'm trying to figure this out, okay? Trying to figure out some settings, bro.
Just move the mic away a little bit in the meantime. Good God. Okay, so instead of like going, this is a Storm game and we might need some more catch, they're like, Rubik's enough. They just want to, like, they're like, right, we lift him. Even a level 1 lift will be long enough because PA is broken and only needs to crit once. I know, deep analysis.
Very deep.
I'm surprised Khan banned out the Undying as well in the previous phase. They could have actually grabbed the Undying themselves against the lineup that doesn't really have a way of taking out Tombstone, and they would have then had the focused heals and sustain of IO, Lifestealer, CK, Undying.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of liking for now. I enjoy this con lineup. I think they need some sort of. I guess they're actually missing a position 5, but
Yeah. That's what I was on about. Like the Undying, I mean, it would be another strength here against Timber, but in terms of like your sustain lineup you have going right now, it would be ridiculous. Yeah, no surprise.
yeah, they need some sort of I don't know, vessel kind of carrier, or I mean, the Bat Rider band was definitely good. They need some hero to deal with this Timber Mars. I mean, the wonky thing is, it's like a hero like Viper would be so nice right now. Like the against Mars, Timber, and PA is just not sure that you want to run this position 5 Viper.
That in comes the possible Chaos Knight to save the day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a time. I don't know if I'd rate it highly anymore since the changes to his passive to be more kind of carry focused again. I wonder, like, it's kind of perplexing to me that they actually saved the support till last, though. Like, I don't know if there was that big a concern that the Storm Spirit would have been banned out in the final round of bans.
Yeah, it's also kind of weird since they actually do have the last pick. But yeah, potentially they just felt like Storm was just too good of a pick, then they just went for it.
Right now, Nip, maybe some solid lockdown would round out this draft very well. We obviously think of support, something that can actually hold people in place. Maybe something like the Grimstroke here, because you can always punish the IO with it as well. But it got banned out by them in the final phase. So it's actually co-op. Is this it's either support co-op or support Mars?
Yeah, one of the two, right?
Come on.
I guess it's probably a support Mars.
Do it. Misery's
I don't know,
made
it looks pretty
1
ugly.
loss, 0 wins so far in this tournament. Let's make it 2 losses, no wins.
It's just I just don't see the real. I mean, I'm just not sure what the support Mars does. I guess maybe it's the spear against the storm or something, but it looks kind of strange.
It's awkward to spear as well. Like you actually need Rubik to catch Storm. So Rubik is the only one that can catch Storm.
So
I mean,
it's gonna be a
Queen of
mid
Pain,
swap.
yeah. I thought like
Yeah,
that's
it's gonna
the thing.
be
They need
the
an
support
orchid.
Mars.
Mm-hmm.
They need this.
My boy, Arrow. Gonna try and even it up so it's a 1 win, 1 loss in this tournament for possible Mars. Thank you, sir. You may notice I'm slightly biased to the idea of Mars 4.
Am I still breathing?
You are. Sometimes.
Okay.
You didn't in the most recent, but.
Okay. I'm checking the settings once again. This is so fucked up.
I mean, you could just make it part of the experience, right?
Maybe,
Like,
yeah.
and now broadcasting live from the tundra. We're in the middle of a snowstorm over here. I also like if we've reached the point where chat is giving you advice. My favorite one is, can't Pajkatt just move his mic?
Okay, what about now?
That's
I think I
good.
fixed
There
it.
we go. All right, now, seeing as I can see him on camera, I'm going to show you guys as well. Here you go. This was his adjustment. He moved it away from his mouth. It's very high-tech stuff, all right?
So smart.
And with that, he can now use all of his IQ brain to focus on breaking down the drafts further, because I don't feel like this disruptor needed to be saved until the 10th pick.
No, I don't think it was so much about saving the disruptor as it was maybe that they just wanted the storm. You know, they thought it looked pretty good, and yeah, they just wanted to get it before it got banned out.
Yeah.
You know, normally you don't really want to save your position 5, and I'm not even entirely sure about this disruptor. They might run into some damage issues potentially. It might be tough killing this timber saw, but it kind of depends on how good of a start the Queen of Pain gets off to. The storm, sorry.
Yeah, Queen of Pain start's going to be important as well, right? Because they're both going to be rushing towards those orchids. Of course, you know, in that matchup, I'd say they equally suffer if they get caught out, silenced up in the middle of a fight. But the kind of pivot point is that Khan have this IO that can save you, or this lifesteal that can jump inside you and make sure you don't die as the storm. So
yeah, I mean, they definitely have a lot of these kind of nifty plays to make, you know, investing in relocating and storm zipping around. So their draft is very, very mobile. And if they can get off to a decent start, I think they could control the map very well. The concern is just basically this Timber Saw, who already has a Meteor Hammer actually queued up. But yeah, I mean, if they're gonna be able to kill the Timber Saw or not, I think it's gonna be the big deal for the kind of first 15 minutes of this game or so.
that's usually the kind of focus whenever there's a Timber on the draft, right? Like, oh, if Timber has a good start to the game, you know, he'll get that 10 minutes breathing space for his team. He'll draw that attention. But if you die 2-3 times early on the laner phase, you become an irrelevant factor. And against a lifestealer disruptor, I feel like as long as he doesn't die before level 3, he should be fine on this lane.
Yeah.
And then it's a case of whether you can do a lot with the Mars. Who hasn't... I wondered if he would have started with like the Uv, but he decides against it. It feels like Uv's really hard to get away with against Disruptor as well. So he has gone for the boots. In the top lane, I know we've seen Liquid do it a lot. They love the POS 5 Rubik. But as a general rule of thumb, not smiled upon by most teams in competitive Dota.
I mean, I think it used to be more so the case. I think back when wards were a lot more expensive, I think the position 5 Rubik was not that much of a thing. But I think now when the Rubik actually does get some resources, I think it's not as bad.
I guess it's also the upside, right? Like when you're ahead, obviously you get a little bit more gold. You'll feel a bit more like a possible Rubik would anyway. And that also supports a lot of what Nip's draft does, right? If a Timber is ahead, he can take over the game. Queen of Pain with a good start. PA, when we've seen Phantom Assassins have a good start to their game, they become the focus point for the entirety of it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the PA is going to be quiet for a while this game, unless he goes for some sort of Deso build rush, which I wouldn't necessarily hate this game. Going for Battle Fury is actually quite greedy this game with their looking at their draft, but generally PAs have gone for this Battle Fury build most of the time that I've seen. But I feel like they have tools for the CK already, so it's not entirely necessary.
I think we're just going to see the general rule of thumb, right? Have a good start, Battle Fury. If you get shut down, Mask of Madness. It just always seems to be the go-to.
My thanks will come later.
I hate to trivialize a very powerful hero right now, ladies and gentlemen, but these are usually the two builds we see.
Lagat Matatak, indeed.
Goddamn Normalans. I wonder if we do get a good start from Mars in the boss 4. I'm curious to see what his route is going to be, like what he prioritizes here. Because I don't know if you rush a blink this game.
No.
It's very hard to catch these heroes, right? And there's a
It
reload out
is.
as well.
It's definitely difficult. Might see some sort of Yules or something, something standard. It's just the thing that I'm not a huge fan of with this Mars when he's a position 4 is I just feel like you don't really get any value of this Bulwark spell because you're generally just not that tanky anyways, and so the tank doesn't really amplify your already innate tankiness kind of from having some items.
Yeah.
And then you're still just this squishy little boy.
I mean, that's the awkward part about rushing the blink as well, right? Like, because if you did rush a blink as a possible Mars, unless you're popping off at the start of the game, you're always blinking into the enemy team, being very untanky.
J4 is going to find this mid ward at least. This is going to favor the Queen of Pain quite a bit, I think. The Storm quite a bit. I mean, it's a bit annoying for the Queen of Pain not being able to use the Shadow Strike from the low round. Or just from, just not being able to continuously use this for the lane.
Yeah, because they get that D-ward, Young G's can actually just pivot around those steps. Like, he understands now that there is no vision for Supreme to exploit a lot of the time. Be interesting to see what this top lane can achieve, though. We've seen some vicious off-lane combos with the IO. Usually you're looking at things like the Slardar. You can maybe see the value of the Chaos Knight once he has a point in his passive, but outside that, be interesting to see if it can actually put a dent in a PA Rubik lane.
I'm just curious if they actually have enough damage to go through the CK IO. I feel like if the IO gets a magic stick on top of this headdress already, I think it's going to be quite difficult to get through these heroes.
Yeah, and we see different builds from IO. Some like to go for the bracer, some open up the headdress, but Gilgrid just understands it's not really about hitting back, it's just about sustaining constantly. And then naturally with levels, your ability to kill just comes into the picture. And so far on the bot lane, Saberlight has more or less gotten away with the start of this, so he should be quick to level 3, probably goes for 2 points in reactive armor. And then the only risk for Nip in this bot lane is that Era overextends and dies.
Yeah, and Young G is up to a pretty good start here in the mid lane. He's got 9 CS out of the first 3 waves. He's gonna have his bottle sent out to him. That pretty much, I mean, I think this is a really nice... Personally, I'm a big fan of playing Storm into Queen of Pain. Yeah, they're gonna get the first blood there on the Rubik. It's only level 1.
Deep chase, and that's the power. Like, it seems... the kind of focus point we end up talking about a lot is just these supports that unlock some sort of kill threat at 2. It used to be like a lot of power spikes focused around level 3 on the outlanes, right? When you think about like popular supports, but when you're now talking about things like Snapfire and IO, especially with that overcharge, as long as you got a hero that can combo it well, like unlocking that kill potential at 2 makes your lane so much easier to dominate.
No, for sure, the overcharge is quite the tool early on. But yeah, I mean, this matchup between Storm and Queen of Pain, I think it used to be... The lane used to be very Queen of Pain favored at one point, but I think people have realized how to play around just pushing the wave with Storm. And also, I think just in the game, I think Storm is just kind of favored. Sure, they both go for Orchids. It's just Storm has just so much better reach, and he scales much better as well.
Yeah, it's also the dedication required, right? Like when a Queen of Pain goes in, she's in. Whereas a Storm can go in, realize, oh, this is a stupid idea, and just leave.
Yeah, so the crucial point of this lane is going to be kind of soon here. I'm interested to see if Supreme actually does go for 3 points into Shadow Strike and tries to go for the kill before Storm gets 6. Because he is kind of low right now. And the ball is flying out to Queen of Pain right now, so...
Oh, bottle charge in the Fairy Fire on Young G's. It would be quite the gamble to go for. He's already got 1 point in the Scream of Pain and 1 point in the Blink.
Oh. Yeah, I'm really surprised that he didn't actually just go for it right there. I think if he just blinks in and just glyphs the wave, I think the Storm potentially go down.
That's a surprise.
And so it's going to be kind of difficult to get this rune for the Storm here.
Yeah, this might be the backfire point as well. Like, they want to punish the Storm, which is why both supports start lingering around the mid lane. With just 1 point in Spear, if you jump in beforehand, you can get him. But now J4, after that death coming in to heal him up, movement in. Drag in onto the Queen of Pain. She's relatively tanky as he elusive to dodge out and turn around onto them, though. Spear through, gets him low. Youngji able to stay alive with the Fairy Fire. Nara needs to run away fast.
Yeah, so he only goes for the 2 points into Shadow Strike. Now Youngji gets this Salve, and I think if J4 just returns back to this bottom lane after this mid wave, I think the Storm is going to be very close to 6, and the lane should be, everything should be all good for the Storm.
Yeah, and then it's more a case of if you're near, your Queen of Pain probably just has to start rotating to those outer lanes looking for kills. I guess top would have to be your move, but it just feels really awkward to try and gank from mid to top, right? Oh.
He's going for it, but
it's
I don't think
ambitious.
it's going to be enough.
No. Room-wise, looks like Nip should get the king's share of the bounty, with Khan only able to secure one.
Normally.
Yeah, I mean, despite all this pressure and all these rotations towards this mid lane, the Storm is they're the same net worth on the mid lane, and Storm he's gonna hit his 6. I mean, he could just go to one jungle camp, and after that, everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah, and he should accelerate. Admittedly, Supreme, because he did opt to stop at 2 points in Shadow Strike, he can somewhat keep up and should be able to rotate sooner than the Storm Spirit. It's just whether you can guarantee kills on those rotations, because of course any wasted rotation is a lot of extra gold gained in the jungle for a Storm Spirit.
Normally.
I've seen Charlie doing pretty well in these early levels, now up to level 5. Top 3 in terms of CS. So what should have maybe felt like a more bullyish type of combo of the CKIO hasn't really phased Charlie in the early laning phase.
No, he's pretty much just been left to his own device. Misha is, I mean, he's gone for some pulls and he's just rotated around a little bit, which I think is totally fine.
They rotate now. Supreme's in. Stun goes out to Charlie. They got the Sonic Wave and they'll throw it through just to get the IO kill.
Maybe a bit of an overcommitment there with the Sonic Wave there, I think. Wasn't really needed.
And the problem here is, like, you've come up here, and if you don't get the other kill, Storm's still farming the entire time, which is why Cheshire Cat stepping up is a blessing. They'll go in. They already got the Shadow Strike out, so that stun is not going to save Cheshire Cat. He's still gone. And now it's somewhat worth it, because at the same time, Ares, of course, getting some vital early levels. Like, if Mars can get a quick time into that level 6, you have some formidable team fight on the side of Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Yeah, and Saberlight is just having a good time down here in the bottom. And there's not really anything they can do to stop him at this point.
And he's gone for the Meteor Hammer on the Timber as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting approach. I mean, Storm's Timbersault's issue usually is the fact that you can't really push towers, and so with this Meteor Hammer, you're going to be able to apply a lot more tower pressure early on.
Yeah. It was just a few days ago, I remember 33 done something similar. He was playing a Tide in that game, but his team lacked any early tower pressure. So he just took it upon himself to be a little bit unorthodox with the build.
He's just going to go Meteor Hammer every time.
Just,
Every time it's up.
I mean, what else are you really doing this? You know, it's a lifesteal, right? Like, ganking it is not easy. You can't pressure him out. But if you take his tower out of the equation, that's when you can start rotating heroes in. And if not, you are at least getting extra gold into your PA and your co-op. And also, because the Timber's self-sustained now, you can just see the difference in supports. If we had like a heat map breakdown, Io is always staying top with Cheshire Cat, but both the supports in Ninjas and Pyjamas are just roaming around the mid area of the map.
Yeah, it's fine though, because Storm is just, I mean, he's totally okay with just running around in the jungle. His supports are going to be able to, or at least Disruptor is going to go take this mid lane. He's going to get some early levels, and it's going to prove very useful, I think, come mid game.
Yeah, a lot of these heroes don't like playing against that static Storm. Yeah, even something like the PA, right? Because you're reliant on your ability to jump around the fights with the Phantom Strike. Can't do that while silenced. And Timbersaw and Co-op speak for themselves in terms of how that screws them over. Also, Disruptor against Mars, really strong because you can't fully utilize the arena if the silence goes down. Hey, there we go. Saberlight is like, easy clap. Tower is now mine. I mean, some people are gonna go, why Timber have this item? Not not synergize well with Hero, but top net worth, he gets to do what he wants in this game.
Yeah, you also get the additional, what is it, 6.5 HP regen and
Yeah.
2.5 mana.
Exactly, and then plus 8 full stats, so your mana pool is a little bit more bulky alongside it. Feels good. Yeah, and you can already see he starts to move towards the mid lane. He's like, all right, 1 down, 2 to go. These attempts are adorable into Charlie. I mean, even with overcharge, like, you're essentially dealing in double RNG, right? You have to hit Charlie, but then also you're going to need a few crits alongside it as the Chaos Knight.
Yeah, and he's going for this. He's going for the Battle Fury on that PA. I think it's actually fine, like considering how much space Saberlight is going to buy with this build.
Supreme, they get him. They bring him down. They're going to chase forward, looking for more. Young G still has mana to play with, courtesy of Gilga just bottling him up. Despite the assistance of Charlie, they might be able to clean up error as well. Saberlight is here, but I mean, what do you do? Gilga's just going to look to reload out successfully.
It's such a convenience for Young G as well. He just gets a free trip back to base. Gets to be brought out with the IO again, and
yeah,
there's not much they can do to contest these two right now.
That's the thing. There was like a hesitant moment when it were like, do we just guard the reload? No, you just have to leave. And the race is on. Queen of Pain and Storm Spirit closing in on those Orchids. It's just a matter of who can grab it first. It's the first fight. Might cause a snowball effect on either side. But with Saberlight taking another tower in a second, it's definitely going to help bolster Supreme's net worth, which was slightly fallen behind the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, Storm did go for the treads first. So his build-up is going to be slightly slower in that sense.
But he's making up with the treads. He's been able to actually just blitz through the jungle so much quicker. Oh, what is Naive's build? Okay, he's going for the armlet. Now in this type of game, you're probably looking at what, armlet, MKB, because you are against a PA and a Timber.
I mean, MKB definitely being the main thing there, and yeah, it looks like it's going to be the armlet. Yeah, just get the MKB as early as possible. It's also quite useful, can be against the Timber Saw.
Do you think he goes for it straight after armlet though, or do you think we're going to see the more typical like armlet into Deso type build? Oh, okay, he answered it. He's like, guys, shut up talking about it. Here, just check my quick buy.
Yeah, I feel like MKB is fine. I mean, the thing is, you can go back for the Deso if you want to. I think it's okay.
Or you just get the
MKB
AC
early
instead,
on.
right? Like that's
Yeah, exactly. You could go for Basher, AC. I mean, Halberd, whatever. Like there are a lot of different routes you can go, and I think this is fine.
I guess the big thing now for Khan as well, they just need to find a way to like just ball at some towers. Between the ball lightning gets Young G under the tier 1 tower and on top of Misha, able to convert the kill. Saberlight trying to arrive, but Glimpse will get rid of him and will abort Supreme's plans to go in instantly. And with a lack of trees.
Bring Saberlight back to the top tower though with the meteor.
Oh, that's true. Not to mention the fact he cut the trees beforehand, so just look at Errol. He has no way of approaching for an arena now.
Aye.
Those trees, man. I'm telling you. Sometimes your own teammates just work against you. And now Naive's found a new home. He's even just farming the enemy ancients at this point. Of course, they aren't stacked at least. That's not surprising, right? With the kind of initial opening of this game, Nip probably are worried that if they made any stacks, they would be stolen away.
Yeah, I mean, normally I feel like you don't really see Lifestealer claim a lot of stacks early on, but just from the fact that the PA is going to be kind of passive until his battle through, he doesn't really want to fight over these ancients with anyone. It's kind of understandable.
Yeah, I think it's like the Chaos Knight, especially is that catalyst, right? With how bulky he is with the drums, it means that there's a high chance Khan can just confidently play into your side of the map as 5. Oh, here he comes. The man of the moment. Saberlight is like, this is for my PA. Battle Fury soon. I wonder what item we'll get to see next. It's actually, in the meantime, Misha, mid lane, gets caught out again. Ran down so quickly. Young G having a great start to this game. 3-0-1 so far. Even gets the regen room. Delicious.
Yeah, he's gonna have the completed orchids now. And the Queen of Pain is still 500 away from hers. Also a full treads behind, so very good start for the Storm Spirit so far. I think this is where you have to start being a little bit careful if you're NIP. The orchids reveal on Storm Spirit.
Yeah, I feel like anything's a target, right? Maybe even you can get through Sableye. Because, of course, he hasn't got his hood complete. He's only got the cloak at this point. So, might be able to burst him down with this much magic damage.
Yeah, potentially here on this bottom bounty rune, you might see some sort of action here. If Naive can show up. Oh.
Just a little bit paranoid.
That's going to be the completed orchids for the Queen of Pain, so it might be one of those where they both jump in and then just stare at each other.
Oops.
They're pretty much neck and neck in terms of levels, but Storm is quite far ahead on the net worth.
Yeah, I think this more scary part is Young G almost has the level 2 ball lightning, and that's where we start to see Storms pop off, right? Like the mobility factor, it feels like just more or less doubles. And Sans comes in straight away with a reload to follow this up. Quap has a silence, but no way to escape. The Static Storm even gets thrown out to ensure she dies.
Yeah, Misha might be in trouble here. Still only level 5 here on the Rubik.
Yep. That's the sad part, right? If you're level 6 there, that's maybe a Static Storm steal, some sort of turnaround play with the arena, but no dice.
Saberlight potentially might be in trouble here. Yep.
Now, he kind of screwed himself a little bit there. Maybe the TP works if you don't...
Wait. Wait, did he not just try to TP?
No, I think he... Was he Meteor?
Ah, okay, maybe that's what he was doing. Because I thought for a second it looked like he was... Yeah, it was probably the Meteor Hammer.
Because it did look awkward. I mean, when he cuts the trees down like that, like he could have TP'd originally. Now it was that awkward in the bot lane. Lifesteal of the crits. Not enough. Sonic Wave, everything, but no, Naive. With the armlet stays alive. Sayonara suckers into the catapult. Looking to get away, but... Oh no, can I retract that suckers comment? They've almost got it. Out he comes, and he's in trouble. The spear into the trees. And Lifestealer does get brought down in the end.
Yeah.
Oh, Gilga.
It's good that they committed to this. Misha gets a 6 also off of that, and there's going to be the completed Battlefield now on Charlie.
I don't know if Gilga's helping himself with these trees, by the way. I almost feel like he's doing himself more harm. Stolen Tether. They're going to keep hunting. I think you can't do this anymore, though. It was an adorable attempt. But the big kill still found nonetheless, right? You need to slow down this Lifestealer because Charlie, like, he just got the Battle Fury. Now this can be his point to accelerate forward.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, the course of Khan so far are sort of ahead of their counterparts. But this Battle Fury might be the thing that kind of helps Charlie get slightly ahead of this Lifestealer eventually.
Supreme understands, like, if he gets stunned in these fights, he's just done, which is why he's queued up the BKB next. Just more or less completely frees up the way you can play this game as the Queen of Pain. Problem is, your BKB is going to be a lot slower than the one that we're also seeing built on Cheshire Cat. Young G, on the other hand, doesn't feel he ever needs a BKB. He's opting a different route, maybe a more greedy route on his Storm Spirit.
Yeah, and it seems kind of fine. I mean, aside from this Orchids, there are not that many lockdowns. There's the Mars with the Blink now and the Rubik, but don't think you're going to be too concerned with those. You have a lot of kind of frontliners in the Lifestealer and the CK and also the backup from the IO, so Storm should be okay for quite a large portion of this early game or whatever you want to call it.
If you don't burst him down in like 2-3 seconds, the response is that Khan can save him very easily with that IO especially. Speaking of that IO, enabling this push to the bot lane. Sableye is lingering around. Might regret being here. 3 second stun. Drag him out of the silence. That almost works to help him, but with Young G there, he says, get the hell back in.
Yeah, it's just like, get out of there. Get in here.
What do you want from me? Oh, this reload out. Oh, this is a mistake. They look naive behind. Oh, no. Oh,
Rage TP.
dear. I don't think did they not see the tree was gone?
I'm not sure. And they also even leave the eye open.
He's like, oh, okay.
That was a...
I mean, it was either that or I don't know if Naive cut the tree. That would have been the next level big brain, is if he cut the tree himself, but I just don't think there was...
I think it was maybe the lift that kind of broke the trees.
Yeah.
It might have been.
Oh, they're trying again. Once again,
no.
Gilga is here, though, ready to save. Youngji will chase in, looking on as Supreme. They'll bring him down. And looks like they're going to bonus kill on Misha. Always dying in this area. The spear actually buys him enough time. Eris saves the day.
And they also just wasted the Queen of Pain ult there. I mean, Charlie has not died yet, but other than Charlie not dying this game, there are not that many bright sides for NIP.
No.
Lifestealer is going to complete his MKB now. 20 minutes. Oh, it's getting flown out right now, but the Storm is having an amazing game, so he's also going to find this Arcane Rune bottom. And he's getting closer to his Bloodstone.
And it feels like for the PA that you mentioned that hasn't died so far, it has to stay that way for another 7-8 minutes, right? I feel like if you die once, it's going to slow down your progression way too much at this stage.
Yeah, I don't know if he can afford to die. I mean, at all.
Yeah. Especially being behind
10,
Naive
15
already.
minutes or so. Yeah, I mean, he needs to get to this BKB. He needs to get to Deso and a Basher. And only then can he be able to sort of square off against the Lifestealer, I think. And who is also building a Halberd, so he's going to need an MKB as well at some point. I think it's a tough spot to be in for Charlie.
I mean, it gets worse and worse. Of course, Naive will eventually get his hands on likely the evasion talent at 20, which is an extra 16%. Not a good game to be a PA in right now. Not something we've been saying often for the last few weeks.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's so much about the PA, being a PA. I think it's just being a carry in this game. When your team is struggling this much, and you also need to farm, it's a very difficult position to be in, no matter the hero.
Era 4 is away, but they keep chasing. The silence comes out to stop Youngji from pursuing too far, but Era's in trouble as Naive moves in. Not enough time bought with that bulwark. Double kill radio Naive. Drag back. They find another one. Timbersaw in too deep. But through quickly. 3 dead on the side of Ninjas of Pyjamas. And I do believe Khan just got the keys to the Roche bit.
Yeah, it seems like they have a can-do attitude right now. And they're just going to go straight forward.
It had.
I mean, at least once per series.
So far, it's really hard to see where Nip come back into this. We hear on it very early in the game that their draft was very much this win the lane type draft. We need to kind of propel forward off it. And instead, the only thing going up for Nip is their death count, as they're going to lose Queen of Pain in the bot lane as well.
Yeah, I'm just not sure what to do about this. I mean, there's this last pick, Queen of Pain. I mean, yes, there was a disruptor there, but you gotta wonder, with this Mars and Tim. I'm not really sure. I mean, I feel like you're so reliant on doing extremely well in this lane, Queen of Pain versus Storm, which is not a free lane by any means for Queen of Pain.
And they're looking for more kills. Sableye. I think you know how this story ends. Dragged in. Silent stop. Dragged in again. I think this is my favorite part about this game is just the vortex and the reality rifts. Like, where you going? I'm leaving. No, where you going? I thought I was leaving. Disrupted just glimpses. Where are you going? Oh, I'm going to my grave.
Yeah, and while this Meteor Hammer is, it's pretty cute. You got some early towers for your team, but I really wonder if you just favor just the standard build, or just to go like whatever. We saw 33 earlier play this Timbersaw and he just rushed this Greaves, and I thought that was a much better choice. I mean, yes, you get some towers a little bit faster with the Meteor Hammer, but at the same time, this Greaves helps both you and your team, just the heal and the extra armor of your team, and also the spell from the Greaves against the silence from Storm Spirit.
Mars gone. Rubik gets up the high ground. Timber going in. Almost gets Gilga. Not enough though. The mech kills him up. The BKB's out of it, but Charlie's Sonic way to push him around. Io is going to be brought down. Charlie's BKB is running out, so he hops up to the high ground again. I mean, That's a big commitment for just an IO killer. Losing the big BKB like that. And they're going again. They say, without Magic Community, we don't care. Storm Spirit is going to be fine. Dragged out the Meteor Hammer. The Static Storm's going to go down, and Timber's trapped in. Queen of Pain already dead. Timber joins. Glimpse back. We'll find another. Misha dead. And Charlie all alone in this. I think what you said earlier as well is a really fair point around Saberlight. Like, this Meteor Hammer, as you said, is cute. But by picking it up, it's almost like he's trying to salvage his other core's game by throwing his own under the bus.
Yeah, and I feel like you can just, you can do what he did in a different way with this mech or Greaves just by being there and not being killable. I think you're much more threatening factor than having this Meteor Hammer and getting these towers a little bit early. Not necessarily saying that the game would look completely different if he did have the Greaves, but I do think it would definitely make a difference. And that's kind of how you have to think about just anything you can do that would prove more useful than what you did is always something to look at.
Yeah, it's always easy to go, well, we shouldn't have got Black Hole as 5, right? Like that's the obvious stuff that tells you how you lost the game. But it's like, man, maybe if I just cut this creep wave instead, or maybe if I picked up an extra stat item early, my lane would have been completely different. Or maybe if we rotated to the mid earlier, the game would have been different.
Yeah, I mean, Dota is a game of many little details going right or wrong, and that's where
the consequences ripple and they multiply,
They definitely
right?
do. They definitely do, yeah.
As a result, yep, consequences are feeling high. And the net worth lead for Khan up to 16,000 now. And Young G able to play as confidently as he wants to Lamina Aegis. They're just looking for one mistake to capitalize on that just might let them close out the game right here.
Yeah, and the thing is, when this PA, he was kind of forced into going this early BKB. Like, it's really not what you want to do as a PA. You want to be able to this battlefield into Deso so you can kill heroes. He has to buy this BKB, but it means he just does not have enough damage. And by the time he finishes his Deso, the Storm is already going to have Shivas. And just so much of your damage is going to be kind of mitigated.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing to look at here, right, is you got Rage on Lifestealer, BKB's already up in Chaos Knight, Storm Spirit now on his way to BKB. And because you don't have this Deso, right, you're relying on magic damage to fill the void. But that magic damage is going to be more or less completely nullified in the next 3 minutes.
Oh, they don't find Charlie there.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Well, 50% of the shots you take against this one. While that's happening in the top lane, Young G does find another just in time before the Aegis runs out. Like, fine, if you won't kill me so I get maximum value, I'll just kill one of you and then regen up afterwards. Of course, a Titan Sliver for a Lifestealer. Would prefer a Paladin Sword, but we'll be happy with this.
I mean, there's an Orb of Destruction waiting for the PA. Once he finishes his Deso, he's gonna be doing at least a bit of damage, but
Supreme just running away though. He's scared and he knows he should be. They're healed up. J4's gonna be safe. Supreme has nothing left. They've already lost Mars. Glimpse drag back after he's stunned by Young G. Will get the kill onto Supreme as well. And Ninjas in Pyjamas feeling like, well, their previous name, but the headless version of the chickens. It makes you wonder
not a lot of fuel in the tank right now.
No.
For NIP.
I don't think the car will even start right now is the problem. And they might just break down. Saberlight in trouble. Dragged in. Stunned for 3 seconds. That's more than enough time to finish him off. And Charlie with the BKB. Doesn't care. Just hit him back, they say. Nothing he can do. They'll just chase him further. Lifestealer doesn't care about the arena ever. Era is able to have no impact at this point in the game, and he knows it. You're very close. You're right now. You can just imagine Nip are looking at their keyboard and checking where the G's are.
I think the one good thing is there, like the PA, he doesn't die, but they just lost another side, and
it stops being good enough at some point. In they go. Rubik stunned for 3 seconds and dead. Silence comes out, and this might be the kill that breaks the ninjas back. There it is. GG. Game 1. Taken in a very convincing fashion by Khan.
Yeah, and you were curious if we were gonna see the Mars position 4
oh, no.
get to the 1-on-1 score. see that nice little rhyme there. But yeah, we don't get to see it just yet. The victory for the position 4 Mars.
I have faith in it. Oh, he's got like his kit is decent. Sure, you lose like the kind of tanky.
Is it because
element.
you're a position 4 Mars player and you want it to be working?
Are you suggesting that when you said anti-mage would be a good pick in that other series, it wasn't because you like playing anti-mage?
I mean, I just thought it looked like a good anti-mage game, you know?
Bet you would. See, every game is a good possible Mars game to me. I mean, it's like, so the whole concept around it is you are grabbing it to sort of win a lane, whether it's yours or rotation, because Spirit is a very strong spell, especially early on, right? In this game included against Storm before 6. But obviously, something you mentioned, the trade-off is you're losing your tanky side, because Bulwark is very useful if you get gold early on, less so if you don't stack up the stats. So it's kind of like when you play it in the 4 role, either you're doing this kind of greedy interchangeability of the roles, a bit like what Secret does a lot of time with Yapzor and Zai, or you're going to fully play aggressively and accept that you're probably not gonna like tank damage in fights. And
yeah, no, I think it was just, to me at least, I thought it was really awkward, both the Timber pick and the. I could see the Timber work, to be honest, if he just went for this more standard build. But then at the same time, they already had the Mars, and I feel like, I don't know, I'm really not a fan of this position 4 Mars, at least.
no,
I think
it feels like they do the same thing as well with the heroes a lot, right?
Yeah, it just made it weird for them. And I also think this campaign, kind of already seeing the Storm, I think already this hero is not good. You need to have such a good start, and at some point, it's so easy for Storm to just zip on you and you die, and then Storm kind of gets all the advantage that the Queen of Pain could have had. You get it back anyways. So I think these 2 last picks from NIP were something I really didn't enjoy it.
Yeah,
it was very strange.
And speaking of last picks, right? The disruptor that we're like, it's kind of weird they've left the 10th pick for the POS 5. But as you mentioned, the way Nip drafted, it played into that. Like, you literally look at this game, you go, this is a really good disruptor game. Like, Screws Mars can catch any of these elusive heroes, right? The Timber, the Queen of Pain, or the Phantom Assassin, and is a really, really excruciating, painful hero to deal with if you're ahead, which, as you said, when you got that Storm Spirit Quap matchup, you're going to be ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be as the Queen of Pain. Otherwise, you're just completely out of it. And yeah, that's kind of what we saw here.
Well, I mean, it's the first game. Hopefully, Into the Pyjamas can adjust something. Maybe start with the draft, figure out like where we want to go. If we want to see Mars 4 again, maybe have a bigger battle plan around it, or just, don't pick it. Oh God, I said that. Oh, I'm going to a break. I'm going to go cry for 10 minutes before we come back for this series, and when we round it out,
maybe grab one of these.
I mean, grab. Oh, grab one.
I said one. Grab one. Okay.
But they're both.
You don't need two.
But they're both
now
so
he's gonna
good.
You're gonna come back now. And you're gonna be all like, and
it's gonna be an Ali A introduction. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and then check out the rest of the channel, because we're gonna have more content coming the rest of the way, and we've got more content coming in after this break, which we're now heading to right this second.